Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, the champion, fighting out of Los Angeles, California. This man is a movie snob with a background in fighting and a lifelong addiction to all things superhero related. Presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the show, the Iron Cube.
Alright, welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 154 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson.
Hey, what's going on?
And Everette.
Hey, what's up?
This week the team reviews The Next 3 Days, followed by movie, television, and video game news. I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love but recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. If you have not seen the review of the week and would like to avoid spoilers, check the show notes for the timestamp so you can still hear our news sections. The Next 3 Days. Life for John and Lara Brennan, played by Russell Crowe and Elizabeth Banks, is miserable after she is convicted of a murder she says she did not commit. 3 years later, while struggling with the demands of work and raising his son alone, John is still trying to establish her innocence. When her final appeal is rejected, Lara becomes suicidal, forcing John to exercise the only option he has left: break her out of prison. Alright, who wants to go first?
I volunteer.
Go ahead.
So I flirted, I went back and forth a lot between giving this a win or a draw, but I'll give it a win. I really enjoy the chemistry between the actors. I really enjoy the premise. I think it was well acted, well written. I really enjoy the setup aspect and the planning phase, which this makes up a large portion of the movie. I think it's a cool concept, and after a million spy movies where everyone's an expert at everything, it was fun to watch someone trying to figure things out. The reason I wasn't entirely sure was because I think the ending gets a bit slow, but I don't think that ruins it, and I still think that it's something that I would recommend to people. So it's definitely a win.
But you were going to drop it to a draw just because the ending is a little slow?
Well, I find the last 30 minutes to be somewhat of a slog. And so, like, I was thinking, like, well, you know, that might be, like, I don't know, it just keeps going. But as I said, I gave it a win.
Right.
It outclasses itself in its beneficial aspects. That's something that I was thinking about.
Everett?
I'm going to give this movie a draw for the main reason that it's a little long for my taste.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of like... I'll explain it more when I get into spoilers, just because that's the best way I can explain it. But there are a few things that I like in this movie. I like how they show a lot of the intricate steps that he takes. And there's also some really good emotional scenes between the actors in this movie, which I was very impressed by. But overall, I'd say it was pretty average, but it had its moments. Really, I can't say anything else until we get into spoilers, though.
All right, I give it a win. I thought it was really, really well done. The only part, like at the beginning when they're at that dinner, I thought that was a little odd. But looking back on it, it establishes certain plot elements. So I kind of understand why they had to do that scene. But I guess it's like the first 15 minutes where it sort of sets up the pieces. But once he starts plotting to get her out of prison, I feel like the movie like just is like a thrill to watch. And I think it's extremely well acted, specifically by Elizabeth Banks, but also Russell Crowe. It shows him failing a lot, and like Emerson said, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air compared to the other crap that we've been watching lately. And I don't know, like when he's doing the heist, I'm like, this is a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if we can go into spoilers, there's something I want to talk about right away.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you talked about Kia, and you said like you did think it was a breath of fresh air. I love beyond belief how many times he fucks up.
Yeah, like when he puts the key in the door.
and he screws it, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
You could see it. Yeah, that's Russell Crowe's acting. Like the way his shoulders drop, and he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
He kind of
and-
does screw it though, like, because that eventually leads to them figuring it out.
Yeah, we're saying he screwed up.
Oh, I know.
And the other thing is, I love when he's like, I really think that was amazing because when he was talking to Liam Neeson's guy and he's like, you need to get papers. I loved that whole scene where
Well,
Liam
that was
Neeson's
kind of
like-
interesting though. Why did they need Liam Neeson for that?
Was he as famous yet? This is
It's
2013.
2010. Right? No, is it 2013?
Let's look.
I thought it was 2010.
This is definitely 2010.
Yes, it is 2010.
He was famous. I mean, he's been famous.
It is a remake of the 2008 French film. Interesting.
Oh, never seen that.
But anyways, yeah, I guess he would have been famous by, well, what's he done in 2010?
No, he was famous. He was in Star Wars.
He was in Batman Begins too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess it was just the idea to get someone who's got like clout and someone you'd like take seriously. But it does feel like a small role for him. But what I was gonna say
It was one scene, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. It was just that scene with his voiceovers.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was I thought it was really brilliant how, because when the guy said you need to get passports, I was assuming he was just gonna like suddenly have them, and I was like, that's kind of stupid. But I love that he's going around asking drug dealers because that's the only connection a normal person would have to that world, and he gets fucked over for it. And I love
Right.
that because that is what would happen. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
The first guy to talk to you is gonna give you the information. No.
Right. Right. What'd you think of that deaf guy?
I thought it was interesting to make him deaf, as a way for him to like stand out. But I was okay with it. Like it's better than the usual. Like, yeah, man, my name's Sly. I'm like in the shadows.
I thought that him showing up at his house was kind of a little bit of a stretch. Because
I mean,
think
they
about
followed
it.
him.
He read his lips. He knows that he went in the back and never came back. And then he just goes, like, finds where he lives and goes to his
No,
house.
remember they see him talking to the drug dealers. They're following him on motorcycles.
Oh, I guess I missed that.
Yeah.
What else? So why did you feel like it was too long? What would you have cut out?
Well, I felt like it was too long. Well, my main thing was that while I was watching this movie, she tells him she's getting transferred to like real prison halfway through, like almost exactly halfway through the movie. So I don't know, maybe like some of the birthday scene stuff with Olivia Wilde I would have cut out. I didn't really feel like that was very pertinent.
That was like one scene.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Those 2 minutes, Kia. That was over the.
I mean,
hump.
it's just like, it's a weird thing to pick on. The movie's, what, 2 hours and 5 minutes? Like, you expect the movie to be 2 hours.
No,
Anything
I know,
less is short.
The movie is kind of a slow burn, but
Is it? Do you think
least to
that,
me.
Emerson?
No, I felt like it was a ramping up intent. Well, it starts with like it seems like it's going to be a slow burn, but then 5 minutes in, the cops break into his house, arrest his wife, his kid's screaming, then he's
Yeah.
getting arrested. Then she tries to kill herself like 20 minutes in, and I was like, and then he's decided and he's like boom 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 boom. For me, it just kept ratcheting up.
I don't know. It just kept going for me. It didn't really. It felt long, and I get that everything that happened in the movie was needed, at least like from your guys' point of view. But for me, I don't know. It just felt kind of
So
like
you
it was
like
slugging
weren't in the
along.
mood to watch it, basically, because it, like, by definition, it's not a long movie, and it's not a slow burn either. Like, I actually was going to point out, I thought that the story structure was really interesting in terms of pacing, because like you have the setup for the first 15 minutes, and then you have him like plotting for the next 40 minutes, and then the last hour-ish of the film is the heist. Like the whole third act is an hour. That's crazy. And you could even say there's a fourth act that's like 10 minutes long. So like to me, it's like as soon as he starts plotting for the heist, the film just like keeps going all the way until like the resolution at the end.
Okay. I mean, you have a point. I'll say that.
I don't get, like, I don't know. Like every time he's like sneaking into something, every time he's failing to do things, I don't know. I thought all those
I
scenes
even
were really
liked the
interesting.
slow scenes with his family, with his
Yeah.
dad and his mom.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed that stuff. I especially liked his interactions with his dad because there's like another arc there that you get throughout the story. And
Yeah.
what's skilled about that arc is most of the information you get, they don't have to show you. You just kind of pick it up as like at the beginning it's like, okay, his relationship with his dad's a little rocky, his dad's judging him, he's doing his own thing, and then there's like a resolution at the end, which is
Right.
very nice. I enjoyed that.
Right.
Yeah, that resolution was my favorite scene in the entire movie, where the dad knows where they're going and he knows he's probably never going to see his son again, and like he grips his hands like goodbye, like you know what that means. Like I thought that was impressive, like that level of emotion with barely any words.
This movie for me, like I'm not saying it got me emotional, but I definitely like felt
Oh no, I
certain
felt
scenes.
for them very badly, especially with like, well, so here's the big question though, right? And I think this depends on what you like, depending on how you answer this, it depends what you felt. Did you think she did it?
No, I had seen it already, but I don't. I remember thinking the first time that when she said I did do it, I was like, is she lying to get him to stop? That is something she did, right, in this film.
Yes.
I remember it being like a bigger thing, probably because I didn't know how it was going to end.
Well, Everett, did you think she did it?
No, I don't think so. I didn't really think she did it.
At first, I was like, okay, she did it, because she like sees blood on the back of her shirt, and is like completely fine with it, and I was like, all right, maybe she did do it, but her emotional reaction was so heavy, and when
To
they
what?
show that one, her emotional reaction to being imprisoned.
Yeah.
Like, she was so upset about it. I was like, I don't buy this. And then, in that one flashback scene they show where she, like, murders the boss, it, like, shows her murdering her. She bumps into that woman who's, like, clearly disheveled and, like,
Yeah.
kind of weird. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's the murderer 100%. And then when she admitted it, I was like, that's bullshit. Like, she didn't do shit. Like, that I was just like, whatever. But, it was interesting to not have her exonerated at the end, right? Because it seems like, oh, they're going to find the button and she's going to be...
Yeah, that scene when they go back to the crime scene, like that's part of like the fourth act.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually a really great scene.
Oh, I like that scene. The scenes that the area where I think the movie slows down is right after they drop the old couple off to them in Venezuela, like in the bed. There's a period in there where I'm like, all right, they're gonna escape. Like, I don't like the, like, oh, they're trying to get through security, and oh, they're on the plane, the cops are coming. Because, like, and the other thing is, it was very evident to me, at least. He puts one bag in the trash, he takes two bags with him. And I was like, and I remember that, what's his name's character? What was his name? Pennington, as the inmate? He tells him, you have to control the investigation. And he's like, how do you do that? And I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's leaving a false trail of evidence.
Yeah.
Now, he's lucky that one of the random cops was like, that's the Haitian presidential palace.
Right.
But, whatever.
To be fair, though, like I mean, how would you have done that better?
That scene?
Like
Or the
that,
ending as
like
well?
the twist. Like the movie kind of needs that twist. You can't have them just like as soon as they drop off the old people, like cut to Venezuela.
No, I agree. I see, but the thing is, it's just I feel like the reason it feels slow is because the movie at that point has just been moving up in tension, and it's
Yeah,
just
I agree with you
barraging,
there. Yeah.
and then it suddenly stops.
But it's
kind of.
falling action. You got to have that.
No, I agree, but I still say that when you have a movie that's this tense and this like balls to the wall, the falling action's going to be abrupt, and it's also going to be like, okay. Now, what I liked is I would like a little bit more of the cop stuff, like where they're like going back to the crime scene and thinking about it. I didn't really buy that those two cops would do it, though. I thought that the cops that should have gone back to do it were, what's the black guy's name? He's very
I don't know
famous.
his
He was in The
name.
Walking Dead. But anyways, I thought it was going to be him and his partner who go back to the crime scene. Because the way we're introduced to those two cops who search for it at the end, they're dicks. They're absolute dicks. They just bust in. They arrest him for like being loud.
Yeah. But he was the one that did the case, so like the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I could see the other cop could have done it, but he was like a higher up. He wouldn't have.
Yes, he was higher.
detective.
But see, I would buy the other cops being like, this doesn't. Why the hell is this guy suddenly doing this now? And then he's like, because it seemed almost like the other cops. I would have liked a little bit of friction there between were you? Do you guys know what the hell you're doing? Like, why? How the hell did his wife get out? Why wasn't he marked as a threat? And then he kind of goes back to retrace the initial case to see what they were doing, but it didn't matter either way.
So I was looking up some. The fuck?
How was that?
So I was looking up some of the trivia.
Okay.
I guess the bump key thing, that's a real thing. It only works
Yeah.
on certain locks, which actually didn't work in the film, so that was cool.
Really?
The tennis ball thing, that is not real. It's been
I mean,
debunked.
if that was real, it would be like open season on the street. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with it though. Like I'm like whatever, that's fine.
Well, about the bump key, correct me if I'm wrong, but when he fails, he doesn't end up using the bump key. That's one of the things I really liked
Yeah.
about that.
Mhm.
Because when the bump key doesn't work, you see him change his plan. Okay, I can't get into the prison. I'm going to get her out of the prison.
Yeah. Let's go through his plan. So he drops his kid off in the morning at the birthday
Yes.
party,
Early.
and then he goes and switches the file inside the van.
Well, he actually switches the file inside the van while he's driving the kid. Remember? Because the kid sees him go into the van
Yeah,
as the
that's
guy
true.
comes back. And so he
Oh.
switches the file. Then what he does is he cuts the phone lines to the medical clinic so that when the doctors at the hospital or at the prison see the report, they can't get in touch with the medical clinic to confirm it.
Right.
And he already knew, based on when she killed herself, which hospital she would be transferred to. And he
Right.
knows, like, kind of what it's like.
But didn't he
So-
at one point follow the van? Like, wasn't he waiting for the van or
Yeah,
something?
he timed. So earlier in the movie, he times where the van goes and how long the guy is inside for. And the reason he does that is because when he has the kid later, it gives him enough time to go in and switch the reports.
So that
'Cause
was a
he's-
different scene where he was waiting? I thought that was
Yes,
the heist.
he follows the van like 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, he cuts the thing, he swaps the paperwork, and then he goes to the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, what he does is he goes to the prison, and in advance he has already cut a hole in the chain link fence near the train
Right.
line because he
Right.
knows he's going to do that. So he goes, he makes sure he sees the ambulance leave the prison, then he goes to the hospital. Comes in, breaks her out, takes her to the train station. He's dressed up like a sports fan
Right.
to blend in with the crowd. Takes her to the train station. He knows they'll stop the train, so he waits, making sure the cop sees him get on the train. He then, when the train is stopped, he gets off at the point where he forces the train to stop, actually. He
Right.
hits the emergency brake. Gets off, goes through where it's already cut out. He has a car waiting for him. And then he gets out before they establish the blockade. After that, his plan kind of goes away because his kid's at the zoo, which he didn't know. And so then
Right.
he improvises. He picks up that couple, that older couple, to make sure that the description of 2 adults with a kid isn't matched.
Right.
So he can get through the checkpoint. Then he drops him off and he heads to Canada so he can fly to Venezuela. And
He flew out of state, right? Isn't that what the guy told him to do?
yeah, he went to Canada to fly. And he left behind obviously the fake Dominican or Haitian information, so they would stop the flight to Haiti. Of course, you can tell this movie's a little dated because I don't know anyone who'd be trying to escape to Venezuela today
Yeah.
due to the shit show that it is, but whatever.
Well, where else would you go? Because the guy said that you're supposed to
Russia,
look for places.
Cuba. Russia, Cuba. I mean, if you not Syria anymore, but Russia, Cuba, China.
North Korea.
They'd kill you. Pakistan, maybe, if you're like a real Turkey. Depends on how they feel.
Crap, what was I going to say?
Honestly, Cuba is definitely the play. I don't know why I didn't go to Cuba, but whatever.
What's the protocol now?
You probably went somewhere else.
What was the protocol back in 2010 for going to Cuba if you're American?
I mean, he left out of Canada.
Right, but I thought you couldn't go to Cuba if you had an American passport. Like you had to.
But
have
then,
another
how do
passport.
people get stuff? Like, no, you can go. You're just like the government says you're not allowed to. But it's the same way Americans can still get to Iran. They just can't fly to Iran from the United States. You go to Canada, then you go to like Turkey, then you go to Iran, and then you come back.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought this film was I thought it was of really high quality. Did you notice that when he had the duct tape on his jacket and then that's how he reversed it?
Yes.
That was pretty, I mean, it's got a lot of cool details.
It does. I also thought it was really high quality because, Sikia, I knew nothing about this.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen a trailer. I didn't read a synopsis, nothing. I just bought it and turned it on. And I remember the way you had described it is you said, it's not exactly a spy movie. And I was like, oh, God, it's going to be like another spy-esque thing. But it wasn't. It was honestly really amazing. I bought it, actually, after I rented it.
Yeah.
Because this is the type of thing that I want to show other people or watch again.
It's weird
So,
how it's
you
sort of
brought up-
forgotten, like nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
I saw it in theater one time and I was like, that was really great. And then forgot about it and so did everyone else apparently.
I guess the superhero craze started and to ramp up right after this, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they didn't try to make
2010.
a sequel.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh god. Well, the next 3 weeks, they go like the 28
Yeah.
days later.
Rotten Tomatoes gives the film an approval rating of 51%.
I don't. Yeah, I
Really?
don't understand
little
why
low.
it's so low.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying it has uneven pace and implausible plot. I thought the pacing was interesting. Like they did something a little unorthodox, which is fine.
And I liked it. And honestly, the plot wasn't that implausible.
No,
to
it
me.
wasn't. There was like things about the prison that I was reading, like they wouldn't do this or she wouldn't be here. Like,
Well, okay,
who
the
cares?
realistic aspect, right, is like when they see the bump key, they wouldn't just have like suspected him and let him go.
Yeah.
They would have like detained him and patted him down. But I mean, you've got
Roger
to
Ebert says the next 3 days is not a bad movie. It's just somewhat of a waste of the talent involved. It's not though.
No, it isn't. You know what? This probably suffered from. Well, okay, so action thriller movies in general, like critics, I say that, like the high class of critics tend not to enjoy too much.
Yeah.
And this was at a point where I suspect there wasn't as much saturation. Like today, we've seen movies that try to be like similar to this and are just garbage. They're a dime a dozen.
Right.
Of these like crap act. So I think we respect it a little more when it's pulled off well. Maybe back, 10 years ago, this was more just like, well, this isn't Kupla. And it's like, yeah.
Hey, who's RZA?
He's an artist, like a music artist.
So he was in this movie as one of the guys that.
Moose.
Yeah.
He was the guy that he first went to that mugged him.
Yeah, Moose.
Yeah.
I know he was
I
on
just
Joe Rogan.
looked up
somewhat recently.
RZA and I got the Religious Zionists of America.
So just some things about the development of this that I'm reading about, because there was the French film.
Oh, he's the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan.
It's a teacher who experiences difficulties when his wife, played by Diane Kruger, becomes a suspect in a murder investigation and is arrested. Julian does not believe that his wife is guilty of the crime and attempts to remove her from the prison. So that was like well received. And the changes that Haggis made, he says, they made it quite clear from the beginning of the film she was innocent and that he was loving and he'd do anything to get her out. And in the end, they lived happily ever after. The bumps along the way were good, but I thought I could make him pay a larger price. So the first thing I did was ask myself what the question was. I need to have a question if I'm starting a movie. The question I came up with, and I'm not sure if it's reflected in the film or not, but it's what I was writing towards, was, would you save the woman you loved if you knew that by doing so you'd become someone she'd no longer love? That interested me, and that wasn't in the French film at all. The whole issue of innocence was fascinating to me because I didn't necessarily want to say whether she was guilty or innocent. I just wanted John to be the only one who believes she's innocent. The evidence is overwhelming. Even his parents think she's probably guilty. Even their own lawyer. Yet he still believed. And what level of belief does for someone, how infectious it is. So those are two things I was playing with. Do you think he pulled off that question he said?
Not really.
That's an interesting concept.
It as like, it's an interesting concept, but I never took it as like, she's not gonna love him. She was definitely shocked, but like.
Well, I think it's really talking more about like Breaking Bad type. Like, this guy has become a different person in order to do this. And now, like, what will that mean even if he is successful? Where I don't think the film really hit that part.
Yeah. I'm reading the plot of the French one. He literally took the vast majority of the movie scene for scene.
That's okay.
Oh. Interesting.
He says, Haggis based the lead character on himself. I just sat down and said, if I had to break the woman I love out of prison, how would I do it? I'd go on the internet. That's the first thing I do. I'd Google how to break out of prison. So that's exactly what I did. I went on and Googled how to break out of prison, how to break into a car, and found these fascinating things, and I just used them. I figured that's what he would do. I also knew I would fail spectacularly, at least at first, but then I would continue and I'd get the shit beat out of me, and I would trust the wrong people, and I would do the wrong things. I'd start to feel really good about myself, that I'd figure the whole thing out, and then something would go wrong. I would just keep going until I was either caught or we got out of, or something happened. That's what he does. So I just tried to make him an everyman. I love the fact that this guy was also an English teacher, so he was a romantic. He was talking about Don Quixote. He's got this whole romanticized vision of how you sacrifice yourself for a woman, how you go about something like this. It's terribly romanticized and so completely impractical. I think he got that part of it.
Yeah.
I think I might go watch the French version at some point. Poor Elle. Anything for her. Yeah. All right. Anything else on this?
Don't think so.
Nah, not really.
Do we have a fight of the week?
Oh, we do.
All right.
So there were a couple scenarios I played with, Kia breaking Jade out, but I thought, it ends up just being the same thing as what the movie is. So Kia, you're in prison.
Okay.
However, you have to devise an escape plan and instruct me and Everette on how to break you out.
Okay, so the idea of getting like a medical transport is actually, I think, a pretty good idea.
Okay.
Because you have to get him out of the prison. If you can get him out, that's way easier than breaking in and getting him out.
Okay.
Are there any other ways that a person would be taken out of prison aside from like a court date?
Court hearings, hospital, medical stuff, or if someone is dying, a family member or like close friend is dying.
Making the prisoner have a medical incident is better because it kind of, you let your guard down because you think that they're like incapacitated. Right. So I guess however we did it, I'd probably have to fake illness and I don't know, maybe you'd have to change some papers somehow. But assuming they got me out of there, I mean, I struggle. Everett, how's your driving?
I'm a good driver.
Do you normally use like Google Maps or do you like...
When I'm going to places I've never been before, tip sometimes, but in places that I know, I drive pretty freely.
The thing is, it's such a risky, even in the movie, it's so risky that he goes in with a gun and like just that's his plan, is just to like point a gun at the guys.
Yes.
And get her out. Okay. All right, Everett, you're going to have to lose some weight. And you're You're going to have to make yourself look like me as much as possible.
Oh my god.
And then what I want you to do is to break into the hospital, steal a gown, and I want you to walk into the room and start fighting the police officers, and then I'll jump out of the bed and start fighting them too. And then, once they're incapacitated with the duct tape that you tape to your butt cheeks, we're gonna tape them up, and then you're going to run out like you're the escaped convict, and I'm gonna walk out dressed as one of the officers to a car where Emerson is waiting to drive me to an airport 7 states away.
And then when they catch Everette, they'll be like, "This isn't Kia," and they'll let Everette go. Oh,
no,
wait,
they're gonna
just kill
they're gonna get Everette. They're gonna tell him. They're gonna say like, "Listen, we'll let you off if you tell us the truth." Emerson sings like a bird, but we didn't tell Everette anything accurate, so he doesn't know any of the real plan at all.
I'd like to point out you just said Emerson sings like a bird.
Oh yeah,
Thanks for that.
Everett sings like a bird. He doesn't know any of the real plan. He says shit that doesn't make any sense. He goes to jail for a long time.
It's all connected. I get sent to prison, and then
The
you
funny
cut
part
to the
is
enhanced interrogation from the last
Everett
movie.
will be telling them exactly what we told him, but it won't make sense to the cop.
Actually, yeah, it's like we could just tell Everett the truth, and he's gonna like miscommunicate all of it anyway.
It'll be like they're taking a boat to Cincinnati, and they'll be like, "What?"
Yeah.
I don't know. They said something about go-karts. I don't remember anything. Give me a break.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "But what was the plan?" You'll be like, "I don't know. It was just the plan. Like, just trust me, it's the plan."
So yeah, his information won't lead to an arrest, so he just goes to jail.
And then we returned like 10 years later to break Everett out.
But whatever it did wouldn't be, because he could blame beating up the officers on me.
Yeah.
And so he'll just be like, well, he did steal the nightgown.
Well,
I don't
he
know.
could just play the mentally like insane.
He wouldn't be on death row, let's put it that way. There's a good chance that he'd probably get out on good behavior. Like relatively soon, 10 years maybe.
For helping orchestrate a prison breakout?
And then he gets out and he goes to the spot that we told him like we would be in, like no one's there.
And it flashes to like some Caribbean island, and Kia's like, "Ah, fuck."
It's like that scene out of Shawshank. Like, I can't adjust to life on the outside anymore.
Are you saying you'd hang yourself?
Maybe not that far. No, I don't think so.
All right, let's go to the roundup. Clone Wars, is it episode 10? Is that what we're on? I think so.
I think so.
I didn't watch it. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it.
So I saw a clip that there was like a cool... Okay, here's what... There was a clip where that was basically trying to match up Mace Windu versus Sidious and Ahsoka and Darth Maul's battle, which gave me the impression that these two were happening at the same time. But as I skimmed through the video, first of all, the animation didn't look bad. Like the fighting looked kind of cool. It seemed like it went on for a really long time too, the battle. Is that true?
Yeah, it's about half the episode.
Was it good?
Okay, so I put
Well, it was
so
mocapped, which was nice.
there's two things that are happening in this episode. There's the battle between Maul and Ahsoka, which I agree is the best lightsaber battle the series has had.
Okay.
And there's also a battle occurring outside between the Republic and loyal Mandalorian forces versus Maul's Mandalorian forces, which I also like. Because there's a lot of people dying, a lot of explosions, you get to see the war aspect.
Yeah.
There's also a pretty cool scene where Ahsoka talks to Obi-Wan via hologram, and it's really interesting because she's saying... but it also... Well, how do I explain this? The best parts of the episode are also the worst. In that when Obi-Wan is talking to Ahsoka, he tells her, like, we can't interview Dooku anymore about this. And she's like, why? And he says, Anakin killed him while rescuing the Chancellor. So, like, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, Anakin killed Dooku? The other side of this is that
So they
she's-
didn't even show that?
no, but
No.
she's talking to Obi-Wan because she's
Isn't
like,
it kind of annoying how it's just kind of skipping through time?
yes, but
That call takes place in between them giving Anakin his council mission and him going to Utapau to kill
yeah,
General
because she
Grievous.
also Obi-Wan tells Ahsoka Anakin's been assigned to watch the Chancellor. Then Ahsoka starts saying Darth Maul keeps talking about this guy named Darth Sidious, and like, do you know anything about him? And Obi-Wan's like, yeah, he's like the guy who orchestrated this entire thing and is playing all of us, but I have to go to Utapu, so good luck. And so that's kind of stupid. Then the second thing that's kind of stupid, in the midst of this like battle between Ahsoka and Maul literally is like, I know who Sidious is, and I was hoping to bring Obi-Wan and Anakin here so I could kill Anakin because Sidious wants Anakin Skywalker. And Ahsoka's like, no, that's not true. But
So
before
is
that
Maul his apprentice again?
Maul was his apprentice, not anymore. Now he's doing his own thing. He was
But
going
he
to try
was
to ruin it.
in the Phantom Menace.
Yes, but now
Yes.
he's not. Because he like got betrayed or whatever. But okay, here's where it gets a little questionable.
Well, he died.
Maul offers Ahsoka to join with him to kill Sidious. And she accepts.
Okay.
And the reason that I find that stupid is I'm like, you're telling me these two motherfuckers are going to kill Palpatine? I don't think so. And then...
Maul can't do it?
Maul
Oh,
already
Palpatine
faced
beat
Palpatine
the shit
in
out
one
of
of
him.
the seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Palpatine beat Maul and his brother in a
And he
2v1.
killed his brother too.
Yeah.
Earlier this season?
In another
in the last
season.
season.
Oh.
And so he just murked him. And then
Ironically, in
tortured
the
him.
exact same place they were fighting too.
Yes. And so, but no, here's where it gets stupid, okay? She's all like down to partner with Maul until Maul's like, we're gonna have to kill Skywalker. And she's like, my master would never be evil. And then they fight. So that part's kind of dumb. The fighting itself looks good. However, it ends with Maul being captured and like it looks like they've won the planet. Now here's what's weird. There's 2 episodes left. So it seems like this is all over, and it seems like we're rapidly approaching Order 66. So maybe we will get to see them doing something on Coruscant. That would be nice, but I don't think they will.
Did you catch the subtle detail of how they canonized his appearance in Solo?
Yes.
Whose appearance?
Dryden
Maul's.
Voss,
Yeah.
whatever his name is. Paul Bettany.
Yeah. Because he like has him. He instructs all his crime lords who are working for Maul to go into hiding, and one of them is Paul Bettany's character.
Okay. I mean, I might watch it for the battle. I don't really
Yeah,
care for
I mean-
Ahsoka at all.
It's worth watching for the battle, but yes, I also agree. The parts I enjoy most are the references to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, they should. Like, I don't like how it's just skipping around. Like, that's not how you
Oh, no,
tell a story.
It's not skipping around. It's going in chronological order.
But you're not seeing like major plot developments.
No, you're hearing about them. It's the same story, but like lateral. So everything that's happening is happening during the same exact moments of Revenge of the Sith. So like I'm assuming in the next episode we'll get to see like some murking of the Jedi. And man, I'm really terrified all the clones will like refuse to kill Ahsoka. I know at least one of them will. I know for a fact one of them is gonna. Rex is not gonna try to kill her, which is gonna piss me off. But like,
Well, you know, there's a thing that I saw. I was reading an article about it. That remember, you watched Rebels, right, Emerson?
yeah,
Did you watch the episodes with Rex and the clones?
Yeah.
Okay. So they had that scar on the side of their head where they removed their chips.
Yeah.
Like Rex doesn't have that scar yet. So does that
Yeah,
mean he's going to remove it in the episode?
I have no idea. All I know is I really want to see like them just all turn on her, and what I want would be them trying to kill her, and she has to kill them all to escape. What I think is gonna happen is they're gonna like half turn and be like fighting their programming, and Rex is gonna like get her out of there, and like there'll be no like fighting at all. But man, if she had to murk them all to escape, that'd be great.
You know, it'd be interesting, like, because I remember in some of the promos they did for this season, it showed her in, like, an operating room with Rex. So I wonder if, like, she encounters Rex and he does try to attack her and she has to, like, knock him out or something. Because clones cannot resist that programming. That's the whole point of the chip. So if they did a whole, like, I'm fighting it, that's going to be bullshit.
I suspect they're just going to do that anyway.
She, like, half lobotomizes him with her lightsaber.
Who knows? And honestly, unless there's like some like, see, I like that they're like doing action, but you can okay, you can tell that they did a focus group, and they realized that the Bad Batch arc was not very good, but they realized that Ahsoka and the Sisters arc was garbage, so they're like, we have to start with the Bad Batch, because that's some interesting stuff, and so like they'll maybe pay attention. Then we have to slot in that horrible Ahsoka alone arc, so like they can't turn away. And then we have what they actually give a shit about at the end, but it's also like only half baked.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting.
So was there 2 more episodes left?
Supposedly.
I think they come out more rapidly this time, though. So there's one coming out
yes.
next Friday, and then the last one comes out May the 4th.
Yes. Everett is correct.
Is that like a couple days early, or?
It's
like 3 days early, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I might check this episode out. Maybe I'll skip through the first half. Emerson, you watched Oblivion?
Yeah, so I checked it out. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun action movie. It's got Tom Cruise. It's really visually pleasing. Visually, and its score are very good. I actually downloaded the soundtrack after. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the premise. I enjoy the twists.
You've seen it before?
No, I haven't actually. So I quite enjoyed it.
Do you think I would like it?
You've never seen it?
I watched it in the hospital with Jade.
Oh, so yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
I didn't think it was good.
I would recommend it to you.
I really don't remember anything. Is Morgan Freeman in it?
Yes, he is.
That's about all I remember.
It's got an interesting premise from what I remember.
I recommend you watch it because visually, it's amazing. Just for the visuals, but I actually do like the plot and the story, and I like the twists. There's quite a few of them, so I would recommend it.
All right. I've been going through Breaking Bad after I finished Better Call Saul. Well, I caught up with Better Call Saul. They still have one more season. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take back what I said about Better Call Saul being better. I like certain parts of Better Call Saul. I really just like Bob Odenkirk. And I got to be honest, like watching Breaking Bad, every time Saul is on, he like steals the show for me every single time. But I don't think like episode to episode, I think Breaking Bad is better. I think they really made a mistake with Better Call Saul in that, okay, so they're going for 6 seasons. It's not a 6-season show. It's 3 seasons at best. There's one season where he's like trying to make himself, you guys, have you seen Better Call Saul at all?
No. I'm still halfway through season 2.
You know how it starts where he's kind of like just trying to become a lawyer and like do his scams and so like that should have been season 1. Season 2 is he becomes Better Call Saul, Saul Goodman, the way that we know him. And then season 3 should be the aftermath of Breaking Bad, like his life afterwards. And
but without giving any spoilers away, do you think that would be as interesting?
I think it would be a lot more interesting than 6 seasons of him becoming Saul Goodman. Like we've seen it. Like it's done. He's been through that arc like 5 times already. It's not a bad show, but you can see that I think they're hurting for like they're trying to fill some time because there are a lot of music montages. Like I know that was also in Breaking Bad, but this is like every episode it goes on for like 5 minutes of them doing something. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Like they start to really lean on that. I went through 5 seasons. It doesn't need 5 seasons. So that probably hurt it, which is strange because Breaking Bad was kind of known for ending exactly when it should have. You know? Emerson, did you finish it?
I'm on season 3.
Of Breaking Bad?
Mm-hmm.
What?
How many seasons are there of Breaking Bad? Aren't there like...
There's 5.
Yeah, there's 5.
Yeah, I'm only on season 3.
That's as far as you got?
Well, yes. There's reasons for that include, like... I'm gonna be real. It's pretty fucking stressful at times. Like, I'm just like, oh, God. Like, I can't sit there and watch, like, 6 episodes in a row.
Dude, I'm on season 4.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like halfway through season 4 right now.
I think I'm going to go back and watch it, too. I'm going to do, like, a big rewatch of that in Game of Thrones.
Well, because of... What's it called? Because of Better Call Saul, like, there's a lot more references that I didn't get before. Like, in the very first part, that the Crazy 8 guy that they get, that he's in Better Call Saul. And when Saul... There's also Huel. And when Saul mentioned that time he convinced a woman he was Kevin Costner. Like, those types of references. And, like, surprisingly, they did a pretty good job of blending the shows. Like, when Walt and Jesse kind of capture Saul and take him, like, in the desert, and he starts saying, like, I'm a friend of the cartel, like, all that's straight from it, all of that is in Better Call Saul. I just don't think you needed 5 seasons for it.
So you believe that Breaking Bad is better than Better Call Saul on an average basis, but you do still recommend Better Call Saul?
I do recommend it. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I really like some of the side characters in Better Call Saul. I don't think it needed 5 seasons. That's all. And I would like them to see, because they've been flirting. They show you pieces of Saul, well, Jimmy. They show you his life after Walt, or after Breaking Bad.
Oh, so it's like almost like a sequel.
No, they just keep, like, it'll be like the episode opener. It'll show you, like, a clip of him, like, doing something that's clearly set after the events of Breaking Bad. But it doesn't, like, I don't know, that I feel like just give us a season of that. That's what I really want to see. I've seen him as a beginner. I've seen that part. That was done like 2 seasons ago. Now show me the rest of it. He does have it's getting into Attack or the Clone Wars territory, where, like, there are characters now that are a big part of his life, but he never makes any mention of them in Breaking Bad. So I wonder, like, did they die? Or is this going to be one of those things where I have to pretend like they existed even though they definitely didn't, So, yeah. Anyway, all right, gaming. Everett, you wanted to talk about SpongeBob?
Yeah, so SpongeBob Battle for the Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated, finally went up for pre-order on Xbox, PS4, and PC.
What is that?
So SpongeBob Battle for the Bikini Bottom is one of 2 remakes coming out from Purple Lamp Studios and THQ Nordic. The other one being Destroy All Humans. It's a remake of a cult classic SpongeBob game from like 15 years ago that I love to play on original Xbox. And they're re-releasing it with cut content, online multiplayer. They have like a whole bunch of mini game modes that you can play. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to buy it. And right now, it's slated for June 23rd as its release date, which is coming up pretty soon. But we've been waiting in limbo to see when it was going to come out, because I think they were talking about delaying it to like September of this year because of the coronavirus stuff, and we still don't know when Destroy All Humans is coming out. So it's nice to see that it's coming out sooner rather than later.
I played a SpongeBob game when I was younger that was pretty fun. I don't think it was that one, though. I played it on PlayStation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this one was definitely my favorite, though.
So this is coming out for, like, Xbox One, or...?
It's coming out for Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and I think PC. I think it's coming out on Steam. But the main thing that I think people are excited for is that this was never a multiplayer game. This was a pure single-player game. The whole thing was that you're like defending the Bikini Bottom from a robot attack, and you could switch between SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, and every single one of them had different abilities that you had to use to like get to different areas and collect certain items and stuff. It's
you're
like
saying
a
it's
very old-fashioned game.
Is it going to be a co-op thing? Is that?
Yeah, they added
Okay.
a 2-person co-op mode, and from what they've said on the store, they've added a horde mode where you can like go and play as more characters and fight off robots wave by wave.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I like those kinds of old games.
Yeah, I think it's a great game.
So you said
even after all
June?
this time. Yeah, June 23rd.
Yeah, that's a ways off. What did you say? What was the news about this? Just the
It's just that
release
it's
date?
finally the release date's finally been released and that it's up for pre-order.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you said there was some stuff about GTA 5?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of races in GTA recently and kind of getting back into it. So I started like doing a little bit of like research on like the stuff that Rockstar's been doing with GTA over the last few years, and I'm not that happy with it. And I've sort of made like a little list of all the things that Rockstar has done as of late that I think you guys could make comments on. So, you guys are aware how Rockstar has made a shit ton of stuff in GTA very expensive, right?
No. It's all pretty
No?
reasonable.
Yeah, they're okay, fine. So, essentially, like I'm trying not to take very long with this, but basically, Rockstar has turned GTA, like, comparing GTA to 2014. They've completely changed the game. They've made a shit ton of stuff more expensive. They've, in a sense, like ruined the
begging
gameplay.
for money.
They're
want
begging for money.
Yes.
And I'm going one by one of the stuff that I've collected. So first of all, I'm comparing this to 2014 GTA, where it was basically just a normal Grand Theft Auto game where you can drive around and steal cars and shit. So specifically in online, first of all, fees are everywhere. You know those resupply businesses you have? You
Yeah.
can skip those heist missions for free. Trade prices are more expensive. You can buy a car for $3.5 million, or you can play for 6 hours and buy it for $2.5 million. So that's BS. You have a price increase of over 500% since 2014. So an average car that you could buy was about $400K back when the game came out. Now it's about $3 million. That's a massive, stupid increase.
That's the average price is $3
That's
million?
when they release new cars, that's the average price of the new vehicles they release.
I believe it.
So
Wow.
yeah, much more expensive. They made sell missions longer. So those missions that you would do for your drug businesses or your car businesses, there used to be a mission where if you wanted to sell them and make about $600K if you had a full warehouse, all you had to do was pick up a bag, go across the city, and drop it in an area. Took 10 minutes, made easy money. Now, it's designed for 4 players, and since nobody has 3 friends that want to help you with this, you have to do it alone. You have to get 3 crates, you have to go all across the map, it takes 30 minutes. Barely you can do it by yourself. And you have a target painted on the back of your head if you're in a public session, so people can kill you and you can lose all your money. So that's more difficult. They fixed glitches that made it so that the missions were shorter. They removed money trucks in its entirety. You guys remember that? Money trucks would give you like 10K per hit. They'd spawn every 20 minutes.
Oh, the armored vehicles?
Yeah, they totally removed those from the game. They're not in the game anymore. And ironically, you can buy them now with the new casino heist update. The paywalls are everywhere. So, you know those flying bikes that piss everybody off? If you want to
Yes.
buy that bike, you have to pay $3 million trade price. Or you can do a couple missions and get it for maybe a little bit cheaper. What they don't tell you is that if you want to buy that bike, you need to buy either an Avenger, an MOC, or a Terabyte to store it in or upgrade it in. So that's a couple more $1 million to add to your roster. If you want to buy a Terabyte, an MOC, or an Avenger, you have to own a bunker or an HQ first. So that's more money on top of that. But then when you finally spend all that money to get that shit and you want to upgrade your bike because it doesn't come with the rockets, you have to then spend more money on that. And you have to do missions to unlock the rockets, and you have to do research to unlock those upgrades. And money after money after money, you can pay money to stop to speed through those, and it's just paywall after paywall after paywall. So by the end of this giant sequence, you've spent about, I don't know, what, like $15 million probably. Or you can just pay $100 and get $8 million in shark cards. So there's that. they made it so that when you sell cars of your export business, they explode if you disconnect from the servers. So you know how all those times we disconnect and you get put into a single player lobby? If you're selling a car while you do that, it explodes, you lose all your money. They made NPC.
Why would it explode when you're selling?
Because it resets the session and it counts as doing a mission. So if you reset the session, the car just blows up and is undrivable.
Are you saying it's designed to prevent you from getting money?
It's designed to prevent you from getting money. Another way they did that is when you're delivering those vehicles, the whole point of getting them from point A to point B is to do it undamaged. The more undamaged the car is, the more money you make. They specifically made it so that NPC vehicles are coded to swerve into you to damage the car to make it worth less money. I know that because I watched 2 videos on it where people did tests delivering these vehicles. They blocked off roads, and still the people would plow through your vehicle to get to that car as it was driving by. So that's bullshit. They made it so that adversary modes don't pay the max anymore unless you play for a certain amount of time. So if you go into an adversary mode, you have to play it for at least, I think, 20 minutes before you can get even the minimum amount of money you were able to make before. Daily challenges used to pay upwards of 100K for a race, like when you did them. Now they were just completely removed entirely because people were making too much money off of it. Race bets were decreased from 10K to 1K. So all those bets you guys make when we're doing races, you could have bet 10K before, and now you can't do that anymore.
Interesting. I do remember that, actually.
Mm-hmm. Why would they do that?
Because people were spamming races.
Off bets.
No.
I only got 3 more. You can't use the Kuruma in the Pacific Standard job anymore, so there used to be not a glitch. So in the last section of the Pacific Standard job, you could go into your garage, get the Kuruma, and drive to the end in an armored car. The car that came out in heists and was designed for this heist. Right. They removed the ability to use it entirely in that section. So that's just a complete waste. In the new casino heist that we played, you remember how hard it was to get in and out of that area undetected, right?
Yes.
It didn't even make sense. It was broken or something.
Yeah, well, to make it worse, recently, to make it harder, because apparently people were going in and out really easily, they blocked off exits in that casino, and they added more police and guards to make it even harder for you to get in and out. And then, perhaps, which is the biggest one out of all of these that people got the most anger out of, is that they removed the replay button from contract missions and job playlists. So when we're doing races and missions, and you want to keep doing the same race over and over again, or you want to do the same job over and over again, can't replay it. You got to leave, restart the mission, invite all your friends back, and play it again, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your connectivity issues and stuff. And there used to be this thing back when GTA came out, where, the highest paying mission you could do would probably give you about 20K. So people would play them over and over again to grind out money. And they'd have these job playlists where you could do the mission 30 times in a row. You get $1 million or something, like every hour and a half. Rockstar completely removed those playlists and removed the ability to make those playlists. So they're just, ripping people off more and more. And that's just my list that I made of the shit that I saw. And why, I don't know. It pissed me off. But you see my point, though, right? It's much different from what it used to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really trust any game developers right now. Except maybe the one that makes The Witcher, Project Rect.
CG Project Red.
Yeah, like that.
They have their own problems.
Like what?
Their problem, they force people to work ungodly hours.
That's the whole industry.
Yeah, but my point is now, the thing is with GTA, and the reason everything Everett just said was absolutely true. Pretty much everything that's been added to the game was data mined in the first 3 months that GTA 5 Online came out. They had found the code for the flying bike, the flying car, the attack helicopter, the fighter jets, the tanks. They found the code for all of that. They had it ready to go. They're drip-feeding content, and they're putting a price tag on each thing they add to force you to spend it. And I want you to think, how much code does it really require for them to make a new supercar? The answer is essentially none. They take an already existing vehicle, they reskin it, tweak how it looks a little bit, and then change the stats on it a tiny bit. It requires a minuscule amount of work. They have had no story DLCs. They have had no map expansions. The new heists, I think we all agree that the new heists are made to be incredibly tedious and really not very fun.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Now, granted, we're all kind of morons, so part of our inability to stealth the last heist could have been partly due to the group we were doing it with. But it was pretty bad. Like, it was definitely designed to be a pain in the ass. We succeeded in doing that heist. How much did it cost you to start that heist, Everett?
That cost me a couple $100, not to mention I had to buy an arcade for about $3 million plus
a couple
upgrades.
$100,000?
A couple $100,000 to start the heist.
Yes,
a couple
and then
$100,000 more dollars to skip through the sections. And I had to spend $3 million on an arcade.
And for completing the heist, I believe we got $165,000 split 4 ways. But before that, we had to pay $40,000 to Lester. We had to pay the game 40% of our winnings because he helped us or something. So Everett made like $30K after like a $400,000 investment.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Well,
Imagine
at least the
pitching
races
that
are fun.
mechanic to someone. The races are fun, but imagine pitching that mechanic. In order to start this new DLC, you have to pay an in-game AI character 40% of your earnings. It's just stupid. It's because they're like, they have to calculate what'll get you a shark card.
Do you think people are doing it, paying?
Oh, absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
Kia.
Why?
Absolutely. Because every lobby we go into, we see these people flying their like motorbikes, having their advanced helicopters, their advanced jets, their advanced cars. Because what happens is you'll sit in a lobby and you get killed by these things. All the public lobbies are the same. Just people getting destroyed. These are people who will buy it, and then what'll happen is someone will kill you 1,000,000 times, so eventually, like, let's say this, person A goes into a lobby, person B kills them with advanced weapons 20 times. Person A might go and buy that advanced weapon because they don't want to die from it, or they want to be able to kill the person. Or, like Everett, if we want to play the heists, if we want to even experience the new content, we need to buy the new businesses, which means we need $3 million. Most people don't have that amount in their account, so they buy a shark card. They lock their new content behind paywalls, and the new content is just the new way to get you to buy stuff.
God, the amount of phone calls I get every time I log in is like, it makes me want to vomit.
And by the way,
And they still
do you know
haven't
how you
figured out
get
a
rid
way
of
to
the
do
phone
that.
calls? You buy what they're selling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even that doesn't work because I own the businesses, and still I get the call saying you need to resupply your business, you need to sell your meth, you need to do this and this and this and this and this.
Sell your meth.
So GTA 5 has sold 110 million copies.
It's one of the best-selling games of all time.
110 million copies at an average of $60 a copy. How many people do we know who have bought a shark card? Just once.
Yeah.
Probably everyone that I know that has
Everyone
played
we
GTA.
know. How many people do we know who've bought a few, who've bought a couple? How many people do we know who probably bought a lot? And then how many people do we not even talk to? And we know how some people know life. We play Ghost Recon Wildlands a lot, or Kia plays it more than any of us, and we run into people who are 7 times his level. People who just sit in the game playing. There's a million of those people just playing GTA who just sit in the game playing, and they buy shark cards almost every week, I bet.
Well, I'm trying to average it out. Like, specifically, I'm like basing it off my experience specifically. So I bought GTA once on 360. Then my Xbox destroyed the disc, so I had to buy another copy. I then bought it again for Xbox One. So that's 3 copies bought. Me, personally, embarrassingly, I've spent a good amount of money on GTA, and I'll admit that. And I've spent a large amount of time in that game. But I'm only one person. And right now, if you go into GTA, what you were basically saying, GTA is only inhabited by 2 types of people at the moment. You're either a griefer who flies around and kills people, or you're a grinder who goes and tries to hoard as much money as physically possible. And both of those types of people are no-lifes, so they must make shit tons of money.
2019 earnings report. In 2019, Grand Theft Auto 5 accounted for 20% of Rockstar's fiscal revenue for the year, for 2019, and making up $595 million. Okay?
From GTA alone.
GTA 5 alone, okay, in 2019. But here's the big thing. They earned roughly $344 million from microtransactions in 2019.
Jeez.
That was up 15% from the previous quarter.
So do you guys think that these are should this not be allowed?
Yes, because I want you to think, how many times we enjoy the races, but let's be real. Every single one of us has discussed and talked about how angry we are with GTA, how it feels like we're being drip fed, how it's just like, Kia, you often say, what the hell is there to do in that game? Yes, we do races now and it's fun, but like before that, what did we do? We filmed movies and nothing else. It was just garbage. Okay.
I mean, it even happens in the races. Like you guys were talking about it the other day. Didn't you all buy custom cars because the people that were using custom cars were overpowered in those races?
Yes. I had to buy one to compete, and it worked. I started winning.
It did work, but think about it. Think about how much money they're making for essentially giving us nothing. Think about how when Red Dead 2 came out, how quickly we got turned off from Red Dead Online.
Well, they tried to transmute that same system into Red Dead, and it didn't work.
In their earnings report, their 2019 earnings from Red Dead Online are up 300% from 2018, making them $145 million from microtransactions.
Why is it up? I thought the game was bad.
Because they have increased player engagement, which basically means they got more things for you to buy. This type of game encourages developers to not make content, but to only make things that you want to buy and to push you towards buying them. This is the equivalent as though in Wildlands, every month they came out with a new unique gun that had slightly better stats, and it cost $10. How long before we would buy them? I think pretty quickly. Imagine if it was a gun that killed in three less bullets than the current Predator weapon that you use in that game, Kia. Would you buy it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because they had a version of that in Wildlands. Like, think about it. We would play Ghost War, and they came out with Predator, and they came out with Sentinel, and they came out with all the other...
Yes, but that's more established. They're providing content. It's a new class. But none of the classes in the game, or at least they aren't incredibly overpowered. But in GTA, it literally is coming out with devices that are miles better, either in statistics, like the new cars for the races, or in a helicopter that can't be seen on radar, or a jet that can have flares and not be shot down, or a jet that has missiles that can lock on everything, or a drone that you can drive across the map.
Oh yeah, that was another thing I forgot to mention on my list, was that they tried to rip players off by selling the laser for $6 million when it's been free in the game if you break into the military base since day one.
Is it still in the military base?
Yeah, it's still in the military base. You go there and get it for free. Or you can buy it for $6 million and paint it in your hangar. But you can't buy it unless you buy a hangar.
But you can have access to it anytime?
Yeah. You have access to it anytime now.
Yeah, but you have to steal it.
Yeah, the point is they make things inconvenient in the hopes that you'll buy something.
Yeah, just beat down the player base until they get fed up and spend all their hard-earned cash on your shit.
Well, are you guys excited for GTA 6 if it ever comes out?
I hear those leaks that they were talking about were fake.
I'm not excited for it because I think that it'll just be like...
But there has to be one coming, right?
Well, there is one coming. It's in development.
But if I was Rockstar, I would crystal copy GTA 5's model. Look how much money it's made them. 110 million copies sold, half of their revenue from the game coming from microtransactions in 2019. How many years after it's released? Almost no required content being put in.
I'll bet you, they're using an outdated, system at the moment. I'll bet you any money that when GTA 6 does come out, they're going to have all the stuff that's out right now. They're going to have a battle pass of sorts. They're going to have, all the microtransaction-y shit to another level. They're just going to follow the same business plan that's been working.
Well, moving on. Apparently, Rocksteady, or let me say Warner Brothers, passed on Rocksteady's pitch for a Superman game. There were rumors that this was going to happen, but like they kind of died off, and we don't know what they were going to announce at E3 this year. They didn't announce anything eventually, but there was a pitch for Superman, and they said no.
Oh,
I mean, but we've discussed this before. Kia, you said you didn't think a Superman game would be all that.
Well,
No, I don't think so.
Too overpowered.
I think that was a smart move.
Somehow.
But I don't think they care about that. I think the reason they passed is they wanted like a Justice League game. Something to compete with Avengers.
Oh boy.
Avengers Mania.
Yeah, there's been news about that too. That's been shitty.
What?
It's stuff we already know, but like, it's like all the microtransaction stuff's just been more confirmed because now the release date's been solidified.
CD Projekt Red. That's the only one. All right. Moving on to some news. Let's talk about the Gamora Mantis theory that Mantis could restore Gamora's memories and mind or whatever. James Gunn says, well, someone asked, question for both James and Palm. Do you think Mantis's power could also conveniently work in reverse, such as projecting the feelings she acquired from her interaction with Quill as, in essence, memories to new Gamora to convince her to stand down when near him? And he says, we see them work in reverse when she fills Gamora with fear, but memories are thoughts, not emotions. She cannot read or send thoughts, only emotions. So, I guess that's not how they're planning to do that.
Interesting.
Cassian Andor, the timeline of the Disney Plus series has been revealed. It's revealed that Cassian Andor takes place 5 years before the events of Rogue One. That means it's set 5 before the Battle of Yavin in the official timeline of these stories. This also means that the Empire has been in power for 14 years following the events of Revenge of the Sith. It's hard to imagine how different the galaxy will be at this point, but you have to believe the rebellion will still be in the very early stages of coming together.
Okay, so it's supposed to be like kind of...
Okay.
What Rebels is?
Did you guys ever play the Force Unleashed games?
I didn't.
Well,
I
okay.
did.
Yeah, so the whole point of the ending of that game was like the creation of the rebellion. That's the kind of thing I want to see on screen. Because that's a really good story structure. Sort of like the Empire shooting itself in the foot. If that makes any sense.
So who's Sam Witwer from the Clone Wars?
I don't know.
Oh, he
Maul,
does the voice of Maul, yeah. So he's talking about The Mandalorian season 2 and Dave Filoni's plans for it.
Okay.
There are things that Dave Filoni has coming in The Mandalorian season 2 that are going to blow people's minds. Could that? I'm so underwhelmed. Because the thing is that Dave and George always had the same instinct when it came to this. Interestingly, Witwer would go on to say that he was on a short list for a small role in season 1 of The Mandalorian, but some confusion led to him turning that down. I got put on a short list on Mandalorian for some role, and I thought maybe that was from Dave Filoni, but then I found out it was actually from casting. Casting came up with the idea, so I relayed that to Dave, and I think it was awkward because I was saying when I'm on the show and this and that, but I was actually trying to say was I actually took myself off that list because I don't want to mess with your show. I was trying to say that I don't want to mess with the show, nor do I want to take the risk that I'm wrong for the show and then you hire me because I'm your buddy. And then there was this awkward silent moment. I think I need to text the guy and tell him that's not what I meant. But what I meant to say was that if Dave had a need for me and there's something I can do for you, you can tell me yourself. What the fuck is he talking about?
Why do all these articles devolve into like rambling nonsense?
Is Dave Filoni... Okay, is he... So he works on the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian?
I have
I think
no
he's
idea.
I think he's the showrunner of The Mandalorian.
Okay,
I
so
might be wrong.
I'm just gonna make a guess that this guy is angling for a job when he says that season 2 is gonna blow our minds because of this one guy's ideas, who also happens to be the guy he's trying to get a job from. What do you guys think it's going to be? What's
season 2?
what's going to blow our minds?
I'm assuming it's gonna be Maul and Ahsoka again. And I assume it's just gonna be stupid.
Well, Maul's definitely dead. I'd probably put it more.
Are you
towards,
sure, Everett? Because
yes,
he was definitely dead before.
So
he died in Obi-Wan's arms in Rebels. I'd put it more towards, because if Ahsoka's coming back, and they're doing all this shit in the Clone Wars new season with the Mandalorians, I'm guessing it'd have to be like she comes back with Bo-Katan and tries to get the Darksaber back from Moff Gideon, and Boba Fett's in there somewhere.
Here are the possible leaked episode titles: The Search, The Confrontation, The Bounty, The Republic, The Loyalist, The Sorcerer, The Return, The Empire.
The Loyalist, that makes sense with what I just said.
So it could be Maul, could also be Boba Fett as The Return. The Sorcerer is probably Ahsoka Tano, is my guess. Or do you think that the Emperor will come back or make an appearance?
God. Please no. I think the last episode, the Empire, probably refers to the First Order.
But wasn't that like the what's his name pulling the strings the whole time?
Who fucking knows anymore? They have no idea what the hell they're doing.
I'm not excited for any of that. If they bring back Boba Fett, that's mildly interesting, but not the way that they were writing last season. Talking to showrunner Dave Filoni about the creation of Ahsoka Tano and how she nearly ended up in Attack on the Clones. Are they talking about episode 2? I can't keep up with all the different clone stuff. What's Attack on the Clones? I thought it was Attack of the Clones.
The movie is Attack of the Clones.
So what's Attack on the Clones? Unless this is a typo?
No
I can't tell.
I don't know anymore.
Maybe the person writing this just doesn't know what they're talking about. We called her Ashla in the beginning. That was 2005. What year did Attack of the Clones come out?
Like 2001, I think, or something.
No. Is it 2002?
Attack of the Clones, 2002.
That was 2005, and that worked on several levels for me. I think it was the name given to one of the young Jedis Yoda was training in Attack of the Clones. So is Attack on the Clones? Can you look that up? Attack on the Clones.
Sure.
There was this little Togruta girl. We kicked around the idea that maybe that was Ahsoka, but then we thought the age didn't really work out for it to be the same character. She was too young in the film. As for Ahsoka's introduction, Filoni looked back on what George Lucas said when he first suggested introducing the young hero as Anakin's Padawan, something the movies never actually reference. George said, "This is going to be Anakin Skywalker's Padawan because I want him to have a Padawan."
So
I wish I was making these quotes up.
So I looked up Attack on the Clones. Google thought I meant Attack of the Clones, and I got 3 articles about Ahsoka Tano getting retconned into Attack of the Clones.
Okay, well that's what I'm reading. People don't expect that, and it will add a way to give him somebody to teach, and it creates a great dynamic between him and Obi-Wan and her. And at first it seems like, well, that's a far out idea. Growing up, I never thought Anakin had a Padawan. That's why George is George. He just perceives things and trusts his instincts and goes for it and ends up creating a character that now is beloved. Is she beloved?
With some people.
Oh yeah, 100% she's beloved, just not by us.
Yeah, I thought you guys liked her at the beginning.
She's okay, but she's not amazing.
I don't have any issues with her, but as I've constantly been telling you, the only thing that I like about the Clone Wars is the clones fighting a war. That's all I'm here for. I don't even care that much about the Jedi or the Sith. I just want the war. I like the war. Show me the war. And you know what I fucking hate? In the middle of like season 4, when Ahsoka and a bunch of like children go off on a side quest and get captured by slavers. Half of her individual episodes, even before this season of the Clone Wars, are her getting captured.
Silver and Black. Do you guys remember that from Sony?
Yes.
It was about what's that villain? The silver one. Silver Sable, and Black Cat. During an interview with original director Gina Prince Bythewood, there are discussions to possibly bring it to Disney Plus. I really love that project, and I do hope it can still happen in some way. It keeps going through different thoughts. First, it was going to be the two of them, and then the decision was made to separate the two. Now there's a thought of, hey, maybe we put it on Disney Plus as a limited series, but I loved it more as a film with the two of them. So my hope is that one day it can still happen. My hope is that it doesn't happen. I don't want to see another half-assed Disney Plus like, hey, just the fact that they're in the same show together and that it's a show and that you can watch it is good enough. I don't need bullshit. Like, I don't know. Just make it, like, either make a good movie or don't make it. Or make a good series, but we know that it's going to be this filler bullshit. They're not going to kill either one of them. They're not going to meet Spider-Man. Like, what the fuck is the point? They're going to have sex with Venom or something? All right. Some more release dates from Marvel have been released. So, Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios have finally made the decision to move back John Watts' upcoming Spider-Man threequel, which will see the return of Tom Holland from July 16th, 2001 to November 5th. So from July to November. It will now replace Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which has moved to March 25th, 2022. They've also moved up Thor: Love and Thunder 1 week from February 18th, 2022 to February 11th.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shuffling.
Elsewhere, Sony has moved their Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel from April 8th, 2022 to October 7th, and moved up the Tom Holland movie Uncharted from October 2021 to July 2021. The second major release shift from Paramount was Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible 7 to November 9th, 2021. And Mission Impossible 8 to November 4, 2022. Wow. Marvel Studios is now down to 3 films for 2021. Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man 3. And is set to open 4 films in the span of 6 months in 2020. Wow, 6 months. Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange, Black Panther 2, and Captain Marvel 2. So, real quick rundown. Black Widow of November 2020. So, that's a way off still. And then Eternals in February 2021. Shang-Chi in May 21. Spider-Man 3 in November 21. Thor: Love and Thunder in February 22. Doctor Strange in March 22. Black Panther 2 in May 2022. Captain Marvel 2 in July 2022. And then there's the 4 other untitled ones. Yeah. So that's that. And then Avatar, The Last Airbender, is coming to Netflix. That kind of sucks because I watched it originally for free on Amazon Prime, and then it's been gone for like 3 or 4 years. And so just at the start of the quarantine, I paid $60 for it on Amazon to rewatch it.
I did that a year ago.
Yeah, so bummer. But whatever, at least I own it now. Same with Korra. It doesn't say if Korra's coming, though. All right, well, for next week, I was thinking, because I don't really know of anything that's related to what we just watched, are you guys interested in watching the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie? Because I've never seen it.
I have never seen it, but I've heard it's absolute horse
No.
shit.
Guys,
So
you
I am
don't understand.
100% down.
If you watched the series before you see that movie, you will hate it beyond belief. I watched it in theaters. It was terrible.
I mean, I'm expecting to hate it, but it might be fun. Do you guys want to possibly do this one as what do we call it when you watch
Commentary?
it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
My God, yes.
let's do it.
Okay, we'll make a time. We'll do a commentary episode. You can watch it with us if you guys are not live, but you know.
We'll give you timestamps of when we start it.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you next week then, I guess.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, later.
Thank you for listening to the Iron Coop Fights movies. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. To contact the show, you can reach us at theironcoob@gmail.com and on Instagram at theironcoob. Join us for another edition of the Iron Coop Fights movies.